some strange decisions, some acrobatic goal attempts, and for the first time on the channel, something strange happens. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Whistle. Today, I am refereeing Beeches Pilgrims FC versus Cheltenham Pilgrims FC. I actually couldn't find a badge for Cheltenham Pilgrims. I don't even know if they've got one, but we're refereeing in a brand new league today. This is called the Go Gloucestershire Football League. It's a church league. It was set up many years ago here in Cheltenham, or Gloucestershire, I should say. However, most of the teams are just a Saturday morning team. But yeah, it's an interesting game, lots of cool decisions, so I hope you enjoy the episode. So, game done. Really interesting game. It was very one-sided, which you'll see, and we didn't give any cautions. It's been a long time since I've had a game where we've had no yellow or red cards, which is great. It was kind of an example of how football should be played, really. Saturday morning, bunch of lads, having fun, enjoying it. Kind of how football should be played, really. Just 22 people on the pitch, having fun, having a laugh, playing the sport that they love. It was good. It was good fun. There are some really interesting decisions though, because of the level. Obviously a lot of strange things happen, and so we're going to cover that in the review, but really enjoyable match. Probably the most relaxed and most fun I've been on the football pitch in a long while. So yeah, really enjoyed it. You'll have to forgive me. Okay, I've done this review twice. It took me 45 minutes both times. So an hour and a half. Another whole game, and for whatever reason the screen record has not worked. So if you're seeing this, yeah, it's my third attempt at the review. Let's jump into it. So one thing I've been mindful of recently when I've been watching my games back is how there are situations where I'm actually blocking off passing lanes for teams. Now, at the level I referee at, it's not a massive problem. They probably don't even see some of the passes that I see when I watch it back. But as I go up through the levels, it can definitely become a problem. So here's an example. Ball gets thrown in, the 16 controls it, and then let's have a look. Where do we think the most common pass that he wants to play is going to be? Right, it's either going to be back into the centre half here, or he's going to skip out the centre half, who would likely play it forward, and he's going to want to play the ball into his friend here. Okay, that is the most common pass that's going to get played. As that happens, I'm in the way the whole time, and again, he wants to play it, but I'm in the way, and he has to play backwards to the centre half. Then, the team in pink are under pressure, there's a turnover in possession, and then the number 7 has a shot and wins them a corner. Got to be very mindful, because by me blocking that pass, he's had to take another option, which is play back towards the defender, and then that means that they've been, put under a lot of pressure. Like I said, at this level, doesn't really matter. He may not have even played the pass anyway, but as I go up the levels, it's something we've got to be mindful of and make sure that I'm in a better position to make sure I don't block those lanes off. So really, when that ball gets controlled by the number 16, rather than coming backwards and opening out, I'd be better off just moving forwards. So I'd be better off just coming into this area straight away, and then I'm out of the way rather than coming backwards to go forwards. I can just go forward straight away, and then he'd be cleared to play that pass. Throw in. Oh. Hello.
Yeah, hi, very good day. This is Simon calling you from Amazon. How are you doing today?
Simon from Amazon. Funny. So as always, we've got club assistant referees this weekend, and we get a situation where he flags for offside. So the ball gets played in, and this player here is in an offside position by the looks. The assistant puts his flag up, and we give him a big thumbs up to say thank you, but we're going to play on. As he's not interfered with play, I'd rather just play on, let the game flow. It's not actually an offside offence. And then we get a similar situation with a foul. So the ball gets played in, the number 4 accidentally trips the blue 15, but because the goalkeeper's got a ball in his hands, we tell him, it's okay, your goalkeeper's got the ball, let's carry on playing football. And that way we don't have to stop play just because there's been a foul. We can just carry on and let the game flow as much as possible. The team in blue then go 1-0 up. And then shortly after that, we nearly get hit by the ball again. So we just about dodge it, right? We get out of the way, but why am I close to getting hit by the ball? Well, simply, I'm way too central, right? If you look at the situation here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that I am kind of in the middle of, right? And they can all come in towards the center of the pitch if that ball gets played there. That's exactly what happens, okay? Now, can you see how they've all squeezed in on me? And now I'm really surrounded. I'm in a terrible position. And obviously, as he tries to play the ball, thankfully we get out of the way. Really, a better place to be, I think, would just be literally just move back like 3 or 4 yards to here. I'd still have a clear view of what's going on and I'd be much less congested. I can't really move into like this area here because obviously he's going to play the pass through this line. But yeah, just coming out into this area or around here, I'd have a much better angle on what's going on and I wouldn't be in any trouble. So again, just a habit to stay out of that center circle and get wider, something my mentor tells me all the time. The blue team then go 2-0 up. Obviously, I've just been nearly hit by the ball, and so it occurred to me, Eric, start checking your surroundings, make sure you see what's around you, and then you won't get in the way of anybody. So that's what we do. So the ball gets played up, and as they're attacking, I'm checking my shoulder to see if anybody is around. The reason I do this is obviously to make sure I'm not in the way of anybody, right? So the ball gets played out here. Now, in this position here, there are really only ever going to be 2 things that happen at this level, right? So he's either going to drive down the line to try and get a cross in, okay? Or he's going to drive down the line, then cut inside, either to drive in or just play a pass inside. They're really ever the only 2 things that are going to happen. So I start checking my shoulder to make sure that no one's driving in and I stay out of the way. So then I check my shoulder again and I can see that this player is going to be driving into here to receive the ball. So because of that, I decide to drop off so that I'm not in the way. They opt not to play him the pass and the ball turns over, but if they would have, I wouldn't have been in the way. And so yeah, just happy that I've recognised them in a bad position, then try and make the change in the game so it's not a problem throughout the rest of the game. And then 3 minutes after that, the team in blue go 3-0 up. We then have to get some dog poo removed from the pitch. Believe it or not, I couldn't find anything in the laws of the game that covers this situation. And so you do what any person with common sense would do, is you just use your own common sense. So whenever there's something like this, obviously this is a health hazard. If somebody slides in it or gets it in their eye or whatever, obviously this is just a potential hazard, so you have to get it removed before we carry on playing. I do carry out a pitch inspection before every match, especially when you're on a public park like this, because it may pop up, but unfortunately I can't, you can't cover every square inch, and it took 35 minutes for anyone to notice this as well. But yeah, when you're out there, make sure you do a pitch inspection. Ideally, I should have noticed this before the game started, and that way I wouldn't have had to have stopped play. We then get this handball decision in the penalty area. So the ball gets played long and then the defender tries to clear it and it looks like he kicks it onto his own arm. There's then a foul and he said that he headed the ball onto his own arm. I think he means he kicked it onto his own arm. I then explain it can't be handball then. If he's kicked onto his own arm from that close, it's never going to be handball. And so we play. And then when the ball goes out of play, he calls me and says, if his arm's in an unnatural position, can it still be handball? And I said, no, mate, if he's kicked onto his own arm, it can't be handball. He said, it would be in the Champions League though, wouldn't it? And I said, yeah, maybe in the Champions League. And we had a laugh. The blue number 10 then tries to win the Puskas Award. We then get a really interesting offside decision. So the ball gets played long by the goalkeeper, it's flicked on by purple, the blue defender tries to play it and the flag is raised, so we give the offside. The lad has explained that obviously he can't be offside because the blue player played it. So let's take a look. I'm not here to debate whether this is offside or not. It's very difficult to know from the camera angle, but it's important to know that the purple player does flick the ball on, right? So he flicks that ball on and then the flag goes up for offside. Now, the blue player then attempts to head the ball, right? And it comes off his back. Then the flag goes up. Purple, pink striker was offside when that ball was flicked on. However, you could argue that the number 15 has made a deliberate play on the ball, and so offside kind of resets and that player is no longer offside. Let's take a look at law and see what it says. We've only ever had this one other time on the channel, and it caused a bit of grief. So let's take a look. Okay, so offside comes under law 11 in the IFAB laws of the game. So a player in an offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched by a teammate is only penalised on becoming involved in active play by interfering with play by playing or touching a ball passed or touched by a teammate, or interfering with an opponent. Then it says, a player in an offside position receiving the ball from an opponent who has deliberately played the ball is not considered to have gained an advantage unless it is a deliberate save by any opponent. A deliberate play is when a player has control of the ball with the possibility of passing a ball to a teammate, gaining possession of the ball, or clearing the ball. If the pass, attempt to gain possession, or clearance, okay, that header, that clearance, is deemed unsuccessful, this does not negate the fact that the player deliberately played the ball. So the following criteria should be used as indicators that a player was in control of the ball and as a result can be considered to have deliberately played it. Right, that's a lot to take in, so let's simplify it down. If a player is in an offside position when a ball is passed them by their teammate, if a member of the opposition deliberately plays that ball and then the ball still ends up to the striker who was in the offside position, then they cannot be offside. Now, the considerations for a deliberate play are this. The ball travelled from distance and the player had a clear view of it. The ball was not moving quickly. The direction of the ball was not unexpected. The player had time to coordinate their body movement. And then we have to think about that a ball moving on the ground is a lot easier to play than a ball in the air. So if we break that down, do we think that the blue number 15 has made a deliberate attempt to play the ball? Watching this back, I would say yes. I would say 15 has clearly had an opportunity to play that ball deliberately. And so although the club assistant has flagged for offside off the first touch, I think I should play on here so I can understand why the lad is upset. 3 minutes later, the team in blue go 4-0 up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is half time. Not much really happens for the first 20 minutes of the second half, but then we get this handball decision. So the ball gets cleared and then this player controls the ball using his arm. As we know, as we've covered a lot on this channel, there are only two things that matter when it comes to handball in law. And one is their arm in an unnatural position? No. And two, is it deliberate? For me, yes, this is deliberate. His arms are down by his side, but he's still deliberately used his arm to control the ball. So just because you got your hands by your side doesn't mean it can't be deliberate. His arms are by his side, but he's leant into the ball to control it. And so this for me is handball. On the contrary, we then get this handball decision, which we don't give. And I think this is why handball can be so confusing for a lot of people and where people are just completely lost on the rules of handball, what's allowed, what's not. So this player has tried to clear the ball and from doing so, it's bounced up and hit his arm. As we know from previous videos, there's guidance from IFAB, the lawmakers, to say that if you play the ball onto your own arm, it can almost never ever be handball. One, because it's not deliberate, right? The action that he's taken is not deliberate. He's tried to clear the ball, it's an honest mistake and it's hit his arm. And two, as players, when you kick the ball, you're going to have your arms out to the side for balance. So this for me is completely natural. His arms are there and it's justified by the action that he's making, and he's kicked the ball onto his own arm. And even though it's up at shoulder height and it's inside the penalty area, it's not a penalty, okay? This is not a penalty. And even though the one where his arms are by his side and he's controlled it is, this isn't. And yeah, I can understand why handball gets confusing for people. And then the lad that commits the handball asks us this. You are going to be on the video, fella. Shortly after that, the team in blue go 5-0 up. And then 6-0 up. And then as a former professional and non-league goalkeeper, I could not help but put this in. The blue goalkeeper makes a cracking save to keep his clean sheet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is full time. For the first time ever on the channel, we had no cards, which was really nice. Both teams were just there to play football, good fun, 22 handshakes at the end. Me and Nick have actually had quite a few things going on outside of the channel in terms of work recently. And so, yeah, expect a little bit of a change in the channel. I won't say too much. There'll just be a couple of little changes that you guys will see. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. As always, thank you so much for the support, and I will see you all next week.